Good afternoon, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 113. It is Sunday afternoon, and I am just taking off for the day. Last night I was invited to the Chinese poker game again, and I was going to go, but I was tired and really didn't feel that great, so I didn't go. Yesterday morning, I got up real early when the temperature was still in the 40s, and I went outside and used this torch to kill a lot of weeds that we had. I have a creek that runs through the backyard, and the weeds get really high around it, and I can't get to it with a mower, and they get so big that I can't even use a weed eater or an edger or anything like that, because it's just too hard to get to, or it's too thick. So I used a torch. I connected to a propane tank, and I spent a few hours doing that yesterday. And by evening, by about 11 o'clock, when the game really started going, I was just kind of tired and just felt like staying home, so I didn't go. One thing I was thinking about this afternoon was a hand. I don't know why it just came to me. Last week, or I don't know when it was, last time, the day that I stayed overnight and ended up hitting 14 casinos. About halfway through there, that casino that I spent about 7 hours at, I actually did play a couple of different games that I normally wouldn't play, and I watched the dealer pay out a $400 hand on a push. And the funny thing about that was, after she did that, I noticed it. I know the player at the table noticed it, and then another player came and he whispers in his ear that she did that, and I could hear it, and I'm like, are you stupid? You know about it? You're going to tell other people about it? And then the other player said, well, how much was it? And he said $400. So it's like so obvious what they're talking about. Luckily, the dealer wasn't smart enough to figure it out, but that's always nice when you get an extra $400 you're not supposed to have. So I've been in touch with some other Advantage players in the last couple days, and I'm trying to work on a new way of approaching things so that I can cut down on my travel and minimize my risk level and try to increase my net profit. And I feel like where I am, and in order to keep things going the way that I am now and still be welcomed into the same casinos, I either need to go out of town, or, like further away than I am already, or I need to change games drastically, which may be what I'm going to do. So, as of tomorrow, Monday, June 3rd, I think it is tomorrow, I am going to know whether or not something that I was working on in a certain area worked. If it didn't work, I'm going to abandon it and go to a whole different area and try a new tactic and see if that works. We will be going on our cruise. We'll be leaving home in 20 days, and that will be a week-long journey, and it's going to be to Alaska. And I hope there's no other Advantage players on, because if there aren't, I would love to rake in some money while I'm on the cruise. I'd hate to lose a week and make zero. And then hopefully while I'm there, I can meet a friend who lives in Canada. Maybe we can get together and hang out for a little while. So what else? So today I am going to 6 casinos at a minimum, and depending on how things go, maybe more. And my goal is to make between $2,000 and $3,000 today, which is a little ambitious for the area that I'm going to, but I think it's very possible, hopefully without attracting too much attention. And I'm going to work on a few new things that I haven't done before, and if they work out, then I'll discuss them with you later on. I'm also considering releasing a photo. If you remember, about, I don't know how long ago, maybe a month ago, I was at a casino and I had my last hand out there. I was getting ready to leave, and the dealer dealt me two hands, a 20 and a blackjack, and then refused to turn his cards over. There was a big controversy and all that, and then after all that happened, the dealer ended up with a 21, and I was upset. There was a police officer on my side and all that kind of stuff. I'm considering releasing that photo, and that might be on YouTube, but I haven't decided yet. I want to make sure that I edit enough of the picture so that you can't tell where it is, and even if you could tell where it is, I just want to make sure that it's old enough that they wouldn't have video of it. So if I feel like it's possible to figure out where it is, then I will wait until the video is definitely gone. So that would be 3 to 4 months before I release it. If I think it could be a lot of different places, then I'll release it early. So anyway, heading off to my first casino, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. So just walking back to my car from the first casino, and I see someone parked nice and close so they could get hit. Crazy people. Alright, so I go into this first spot, and it is pretty busy. Sunday afternoon, evening time frame, so a lot of people in there, a lot of older crowd in this casino. I don't really see a lot of people checking things, but there's a few floating around, and I'm just looking around, and I'm finding plays that I normally wouldn't play. They may not be huge plays, but I'm finding things, and I'm making a few bucks here and a few bucks there. People are nuts. People are really crazy. Yeah, and do a U-turn too. That's really nice. Anyway, so I find a couple small plays, make a few bucks here and there. I'm up like 60, 80 bucks, somewhere in there. Go around to the other side, and I see a guy playing a high-limit machine, which can be very good or very bad. Huge variance machine, $10 a spin. I know for sure I saw him put $1,000 into it. I don't know what else he put into it, but he was involved for at least $1,000. I took a lap, or finished my lap, and then came back. He was gone, and everything had been cleaned out, so there was no opportunity for me, but it's always worth a try to go back and take a look if someone's playing a machine. Basically, I ended up playing for about 35 to 40 minutes and ended my session ahead $237. Now, this is no free play or anything like that, just going in, just playing regular stuff, paying attention. I did see a couple people on my way out that were checking machines, so it's getting late enough in the day where a lot of people are going to be coming, and by 9 or 10 o'clock it's going to be just jam-packed with both players and advantage players. So right now I am moving on to another casino, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be a lower opportunity casino generally, but every once in a while I find a pearl there. A lot of people have been removed from this place lately, so I tread lightly. I try not to make a big deal, try not to get into arguments, walk away when I see somebody that works there that's coming, if or I'll sit down and put my voucher in as they walk by and check the machine that way, just so that I'm not bringing a lot of attention to myself. So like I've said a million times, look ordinary, see what other people are doing, and do that as well. And when you see the standout, then you know that they don't belong, and that's what they're going to look for too. So anyway, heading out to the next casino. Looks like it's about to rain, hopefully not, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I go into this place, walking around, looking a little bit. I see a couple tiny plays. I might have had like $12, $14, not much, maybe $20, something like that. And looking around, and it's just packed in there. There's a lot of people. I see all kinds of people checking machines and everything. And then one machine opens up. I take my lap, and on my way back, I see one machine opened up. I kind of hunch over and just tap that for a second, and I'm just gonna leave. I just don't feel like I'm gonna find anything. And then this guy puts his hand up and waves to me, and he's like, "Hey man, I listen to your podcast. You can have this machine. I'm getting up." And I'm like, I looked at it. Well, at first I said, "Oh, how do you know? How do you know you're listening to my podcast? How do you know who I am?" And he's like, oh, we met before, and he reminded me, and then I remembered seeing him. He was playing a machine, and he looked like some young college kid that was about to lose all his money, and I'm like, man, don't play that. That's awful. And then we talked for a minute, got to know each other, and then so I see him, and he tells me, he listens to my podcast. I look at the machine he's playing, and he just finished up a play. He's like, you can have it. And I'm like, there's nothing left. Well, I don't want it. Anyway, so I'm like, well, how do you know? I said, it's not in a good place anymore. We talked for a second, and he's listened to the last couple podcasts and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, well, I'm heading in this direction. Should I just not go there because you already cleaned it out? I'm like, no, I came from a different direction, so you're cool. You can go there, and, so I'm heading a different way than he is. So, yeah, good luck to you. It was nice meeting you. He said he was about to email me today anyway. Email me, and maybe we'll get together sometime when I'm in the area. But I'm rarely in this area, so just the last couple times I've been here, he happened to see me. Anyway, I ended up ahead $52 in that session. Not really much happening. I've got free food and stuff there. I'm not even going to use it right now. I want to get on with the day here and make some good money. I am stopping right now at a Wendy's to use that 1 cent deal that I was going to use the other day, and it didn't work out because whatever. But I'm going to grab some Wendy's here real quick, a 1 cent hamburger, and I'm going to move on to the next casino. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I'm back. So I was actually in there for 3.5 hours. Don't worry, it's not bad as usual when I'm in there for a long time. It was a hell of a grind, I gotta say that. But I go to the blackjack area. It's completely full, nowhere to play. I go play. Oh shoot, I still have my slot voucher. I'm gonna go back in there and cash it. But I go play some slots, and I'm ahead like 17 or 18, I think, on slots. Let me see, $18 on slots. So I play the slots, and then I go back to the blackjack area, still busy. Walk around some more, back to the blackjack area. Finally clears up a little bit. Hold on, I'm gonna go back in real quick. I'll be back. Anyway, as I'm walking in here, I sit at the blackjack table. It's a $50 table, and buy in for $500 and start playing, and that $500 lasts me about, I don't know, half an hour or so. Then I have to rebuy for $500 more. That doesn't last me very long, and then rebuy for $500 more, and things are going good, so I'm starting to feel a little bit better about what's going on. I'm playing for a long time. A lot of people come and go to the table, which right now I can't even recall all the stuff, but I'll give you a brief rundown. So at one point there was this Indian guy that came to the table, and he's betting crazy. He's buying in for like thousands of dollars at a time, and he's just throwing chips out there. He'll bet $50, then he'll bet $1,500, then back to 50, and back and forth like crazy. Let's see, there was a couple guys that came to the table betting just normal. That was all good, and we sat down together for about an hour or so. No issue there, it's just we were having bad variance. And actually, the pit boss knew me, but he knows that I don't like to use a card, so he didn't give me a hard time at all. Come on now. He didn't give me a hard time at all, but so I'm at this table for about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and people just coming and going. People are coming in so recklessly, like buying in for $400, putting it out on one hand, and then playing the hand wrong, and then wondering what happened, why they lost. One guy was doubling down 4-2 against a bus card, but still, he was doubling down 6-2, 5-3. All those hands was doubling down on those, like it was no big deal. And then this like I would say mid-60s-year-old, like white, older, like I don't know how to describe, like a rich-looking lady with like these weird jewelry on that like you would get because you would go around the world and like go to see these different cultures, and only you know what it means, but it looks like a cheap piece of garbage, but it means something to somebody, obviously, because they went to somewhere around the world and learned about some culture and picked it up and brought it back. But the table had very little dollar chips on it, and she kept on getting change and tipping $2 at a time and splitting and adding $2 more to the split and doubling with the $2. And I'm like, give me a freaking break here. You're slowing down the table. The first dealer that we had was such a slow dealer, and I knew that it was almost time for him to go home because he wouldn't be acting that way otherwise, just dealing so slow. One shoe took almost half an hour. Finally got him out of the way, got a little bit better dealer, someone I had never seen before, young girl, long hair, like really, really young, like barely 21 years old. And she's like, her banter back and forth was like nervous, like she's trying to be nice and crack jokes and stuff like that, but she was nervous every step of the way. And there was one point where a guy tried to bet, what did she say? He tried to bet over the table limit, and she tried to say something funny there, but he'd been losing nonstop. And by not allowing him to bet what he wanted to bet, and then he lost the hand, he ended up with like so little money. He was so frustrated. He had like $200 left. He's trying to bet thousands of dollars on this hand, and she wouldn't let him. Man, what did she say? I'll think of it, but something like, that's what they tell me, or something like that, and nobody was laughing. So anyway, next thing you know, the count starts going up, and I'm excited about it. I've been waiting for like an hour and a half for a decent count so I can raise my bets. I start raising my bets, I start losing my bets, and just back and forth kind of, but I'm slowly losing ground, even though the counts are excellent. And I'm not getting blackjacks, and there were a few shoes there where the dealer was getting 6 and 8 blackjacks in a shoe, and that was pretty frustrating as well. And as I'm leaving the parking garage now, so next thing you know, I'm in for 2,000, and I hang around there for a while, and then the high counts come, and I start buying in for bigger amounts. 1,000 gets me to 3, 1,000 gets me to 4, and I'm down at one point like 3,700. But the count is good, and I'm ready to put more money in because I'm getting like these tremendous counts at this point. True 3, true 4, true 5, true more than 5. And things start turning around. I bet that 300 on that hand, and I won. And I bet the whole 600 on the next hand, and I won. And then the count fell a little bit, and as things started going the right direction, I started feeling good about it. And by the end of that shoe, I had like 2,100. And I'm like, I feel like everything's going to be okay now. And the beginning of the next shoe, I lost, I don't know how many hands. I only won one hand in the first deck and a half, with me and another guy at the table, and table minimum is 50, and I'm down to 300. So now I'm back down to 300. I'm building it back up again, and just a lot of back and forth like that. And by the end of it, everyone who had come to the table had lost all their money. Oh, except for one guy, the crazy Indian guy. One of the crazy Indian guys ended up. He had bought in for a total of 2,000. And he was down to his last 100 and ended up coloring up 3,000 because he would go all in, bet the side bet and win, go all in, bet the side bet and win. It's just ridiculous. But, it's part of what we see all the time, and it's like not a shock anymore. It used to be so shocking to me to see people bet crazy amounts of money and then misplay the hand or not understand how to play the hand. And one guy, for example, that guy actually that I'm talking about, He finally gets a good hand. He's got a 7-4 against a 6, and he doesn't have the money to double, and he doesn't want to dip into his pocket for more, so he doesn't double. And me and the other guy are like, wait a minute, we'll double it. He's like, I don't understand. How could you double? He didn't even understand how it works, where someone else at the table could take the double. And so he ended up not doubling it. And then the guy next to me, who wanted to double as well as me, later on, he doesn't want to split 9s against a 2 for 500. And I'm like, I will take it. Oh, no, I'll take it. And he ends up pushing 1 and losing 1. So I didn't really miss out on anything on that one. But after everybody lost and left, the next shoe was like explosive. It was like we go to a running 19 after a deck and a half, and now, you know, so I've had people say, why do you talk about running count, not true count? I need to talk about true count, but just to give you an idea, after a deck and a half, you're at 19, so you're over a true 4 already. You know, you're at basically almost a true 5 right away. So you're putting out big bets right away. So it's the beginning of the shoe, and I'm already putting out big bets, and I'm losing, and I'm putting out a bigger bet, and I'm losing and putting out a bigger bet. And I basically spread from 50 to 1,000 on this table at a place that's normally very, very hawkish, is what I want to say. They like to look at your play. They like to watch you. I've seen a lot of people thrown out of this place. And it was interesting because at one point there was a new dealer comes to the table, and he's acting very suspicious to me, like he's watching or something. He's like paying real close attention to me. And like I said before, everybody thinks I'm like this gorgeous piece of candy here. They're always staring at me. So I didn't know if he just liked me, or if it was my play, or he thought I was suspicious, or what the deal was. But he put out like a lammer on the table, and then he took it off on the next hand, and that made me think that maybe he was trying to tell surveillance who to watch. So at this point, I'm like, I don't care. I got good counts. I've got a good story. I'm behind. I'm going for it. I'm going to win. So I did spread from 50 to 1,000, and after 2 hours and 20 minutes, I ended up leaving ahead 450 at the end of a shoe, and it was kind of a letdown, because that shoe, I had made almost $4,000 in that one shoe, and it ended with like a true more than that, like a true almost 30, because they cut less than a deck off. So what are you gonna do though? And I even tried the old, how about one more hand? You know, every once in a while it might work. They might say, okay, one more hand. I've heard of it working. I've seen it work before. So maybe I get lucky and get one more hand at 1,000, but that didn't happen. So I didn't even know how much I had. I colored up, and I had 44.50, and I went to the cashier, and I cashed out just under 3,000, like 29.50, I believe. And that left me with 1,500, if that adds up right. I don't know. Whatever. So how am I going to cash the 1,500? There's only one cashier, but there's a poker room. I said, oh yeah, there's a poker room. Let's go play poker. So I go to the poker room. I see there's an open seat at 1-2 pot limit Omaha. Pretty cool. 1-2 pot limit. Keep it low. Man, these guys were not keeping it low, man. They were pushing and pushing. But anyway, I get to this table. So the buy-in is 100 to 500 on this 1-2 pot limit Omaha. So I put up the $1,500, and I say, give me 300 in red and the rest just back in cash. And see, they won't question that because I'm playing the game, right? But if I just went up there with three $500 chips, they're going to say, where'd you get these from, and give me a hard time. So I take the 300 over to the table. I sit down. First hand, I get ace, king, queen, 9. So I'm playing that hand, and I end up hitting a queen on the flop. Everyone checks around, and there's like $100 and something in the pot. So the turn comes, and I miss. So now I have just a pair of queens with an ace, and I bet 60, everybody folds, I win the hand. So my first hand at the table, I win it. Second hand at the table, I get ace, queen, jack, ace, queen, king, 2, double paired, and flop a straight draw, and turn a straight draw still, and then river the straight. And I had bet the flop and checked the turn, and then raised the river, and then one person called me and he had nothing. That put me ahead like 450 on that. However it went down. I'm just giving you, approximates here, but so I'm ahead like 4, maybe more, like 470 or something like that. And then I only played at this table for like half an hour because the whole point was just to get my chips cashed. My last hand was ace, king, 2-2 with king, high, heart draw. And the flop, okay, ace, king, 2-2. The flop was 9-2-7. And it was 25. Everybody calls. I'm okay with that. And then the turn comes, and the last guy to bet makes it 150. So I'm like, shoot, 150. I mean, he could have 9-9, he could have 7-7. He did call the 25 pre-flop. He's had hands already. Although one time he called and he had misread his hand. So I end up folding. The turn comes to 6, and then I don't know what else, but he had 2 pair. And I had a set, but if the board paired, I lose because I'll get counterfeited because all I have was 2s. So in this case, it was the wrong decision. I would have won the hand, and it would have been like $1,000 hand. But I think technically for PLO, I think I did the right thing there. Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. So I did get my chips cashed, which was the whole point of the exercise, was to get my chips cashed. And I ended up ahead, like I said, 450 on the blackjack, but also 434 on the pot limit Omaha. So that was really nice. So right now I have moved on to another place and just heading over there right now. And I'll be back to update you after I get out. All right, guys, I'm back. So this place was pretty much empty. Not many people in there. Not much action. Machines were either had someone on them, or the ones I checked, there was just no possibility of making money. And unless I wanted to wait long term for someone to get off a machine, it didn't make sense for me to be there. So it wasn't too far out of the way. So we're gonna let that one go. Didn't play anything there, so no wins or losses there. And I'm moving on. So right now we're going to move on to another casino. It's a little ways out. I'm going to sit back and relax. It's almost midnight right now. I may stop somewhere and get a bite to eat. I'm not sure yet, but it's going to take a little while to get there. So I'm going to sit back and relax, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I'm back. It's probably bad to start off by saying at least I got points, but at least I got points. So I go into this place and pretty dead in there. I find a couple tiny plays, and then I find a couple long-term plays that take quite a while to play through. A lot of coin in, a lot of points, but end up losing 200 on one of them. And then the other one, I ended up winning like 140 or something like that. And then looked around some more, found a couple little things, and I was ahead about 46. And then went and looked. I went through the whole place all over again and couldn't find anything else. And I ended up leaving ahead $46. About the only people in there are drunk people and homeless people right now. So there really wasn't much to do or much to find. There was a lot of giggling and a lot of yelling in there, but not a lot of opportunity, unfortunately. So plus 46 there, and we're going to move on to another place. Right now it's about 1 o'clock. We're going to move on, and yeah, at least one more stop here. I'd like to get home by 5 so that I can at least get a little bit of a nap before going to work. Tomorrow is an in-office day, so not much opportunity to make money tomorrow, but we'll see what we can do. So right now, letting you go. I'm moving on to the next place, and then I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. I was in there for about an hour, and when I first walked in, I saw a machine in great position. I was excited about it. I sat down, and I got killed on it. I mean, proportionally. At a $2 level, lost over $100 on it, and it was actually in pretty good position. Should have paid pretty well. So that was a little let down, just to start things off. Walk around, find a couple small plays, and can't really find much else, really. I was down about $60 at that point. And then there's a machine that's pretty neglected these days because it just hasn't been performing well. And this machine is a little bit unique because you can actually see what's possible to win, almost like a window to what's possible to win. And so I sat at that and looked at it, and I see a huge possibility at a really low amount, like $1 a spin. And I played that through. It took me like a minute and a half. Ended up ahead $100 on that one. So now I'm up like $40 or $41 overall, and I can't find anything. I'm searching, and then I see this machine, and I'm like, wait, am I seeing this right? It's a similar situation as the one before it. It almost can give you a hint as to what's possible. And at just over $1 a spin, there was a possibility of winning $700. Sat there and played that, and that one took me for quite a ride. It was $1.50 actually a spin. I sat down ahead like 41. I was down 100, then up 100, then down 100, and then I ended up in the end overall ahead $319, I believe. $319, yeah. So that one did take a while. It took me about 20 minutes to play it, which is fine. I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew how long it was going to take, approximately. And it didn't surprise me at all. I did feel a little bit let down that I didn't get the prize I was chasing, but overall it played really well. I made money. I got points, and all that is good. So I want to actually talk about a casino that I have badmouthed for years, like 20 years, about how cheap they are and how terrible a place it is and all that. And a few months ago, I visited that casino, and I actually lost some money there. And I was looking, because it's in the same family as the casino I just left, and I was just looking to see what my comps would be at this place, which was just like $7 or $10. That's it. But I noticed that I had like $100 once a week or something there. I'm not saying that I'm going to go there, but they're giving me, I think, $40 in food and $100 a week in free play, plus like some $40 or $50 gift cards once a week. So I'm going to check the calendar and see if it's possible to make that happen without sacrificing something better. But there may be a possibility of that working out. I would just have to change one day with a totally different area, and I'd have to be in the area where this casino would be when I normally would never be there. So I just have to consider it. I'm going to think it through, and for that much money, it's not really worth changing the world. But if there's a possibility of doing some other things along with it, it might make it worthwhile. So Anyway, now there's another casino also that's offering me $150 a week, and I'm not going to visit them, and it's not that far out of my way, but the casino is just, it's in an area that I don't like. It's overrun with people checking machines. The blackjack rules are terrible. The parking situation is terrible. So, I mean, if I wasn't married, if I was single, yeah, I would probably swing by and pick it up. But to waste time going there, walking far, parking in a weird place, it's just, I just don't see the benefit. There are other casinos in that area, and if I can work it out where I could get benefits from a bunch of them, then maybe I would, but that would be months down the line. It wouldn't apply right now. So anyway, right now, after 2 o'clock in the morning, and I am heading toward home. Not sure if I'm going to do anything else yet or not. There is a possibility of one more casino potentially, but we'll see how things go. I am a little bit hungry, so I need gas pretty soon, the next half hour or so. So hopefully I can stop somewhere, get gas, get food, and then decide if I want to move on to another place or head toward home. Again, the goal is to get home by 5 so that I can sleep an hour or so before getting up for work. So for now, letting you go, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, we got some fuel, we got some food. We're continuing our trip home, and we should be home right around 5 o'clock, so everything is good. Nothing to worry about. Good day today. No idea where we ended up. I think $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, so got to be proud of that, and continue to move in the right direction. Keep digging, keep clawing, keep scratching, keep doing whatever we got to do to make money. So tomorrow is a not great day, but we're going to try to sneak out of work early. Normally I would try to go to the casino before work, but I'm only going to have an hour or so to sleep as it is. So we'll try to go during lunch and maybe after work and make some money. So for now, I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you tomorrow.